Good afternoon.
Okay, Committee on Parole, we are reconvening. We are in Plaquemines Parish. Today is Thursday, April 27th, 2023. The time is 1:19 p.m. Good afternoon, sir. Would you enter your name into the record?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Lieutenant Tinson, Plaquemines Parish Sheriff Department.
All right, thanks, Lieutenant. And we have one case at your facility. We're ready for Mr. Dahl.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Chris Anthony Dahl Jr. and my DOC is 623001.
Okay, good, thank you. And let me just let you know, we have some folks who have joined us or are trying to join us. We have your mother and your father that'll be joining and speaking on your behalf, and your sister, Bobby Dahl, who is here also in support, but will not be speaking. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. Mr. Dahl, you're classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 7-year sentence. You were sentenced initially in April 2014 for indecent behavior with a juvenile. You were afforded probation, however, that was revoked in January of 2018. You have a parole eligibility date, which was December 17 of 2022. You don't earn good time, but your full term date is August 2nd, 2024. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Your case this afternoon, well, there's your mother, I guess, yeah. Your case this afternoon has been assigned to Mr. Roche. Would you answer his questions?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good afternoon, Mr. Dahl. How are you?
How you doing today, sir?
Thank you for asking. You're currently 44 years old, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, get to think about it, okay? And this is your first felony offense, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And by my calculation, you served about 5 years and 8 months of a 7-year sentence, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Approximately, yeah, I think so.
And first of all, congratulations. You just made the dean's list at Ashland University.
Yes, sir. I've been making it every semester. I'm proud of myself. Thank you.
Congratulations. And you also had some wonderful letters of support from Major Brian Williams and Lieutenant Ashton Braxton, both officers at the Plaquemines Parish Detention Center. Those were excellent letters saying that you are a model offender.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Congratulations. What is your current job assignment at Plaquemines?
I'm not a trustee anymore. When I was a trustee, I worked on the compound cutting the grass as a work for the compound. And then when I decided to do my schoolwork full time, it was just too hard to work and do full-time school. So lack of better words, I quit trustee to do school full time. And I'm taking all 4 courses every semester, and I actually earned my associate's degree tomorrow.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
So you can't go to school full time and be a trustee?
No, you can. You can do it, but some people they pick how many courses they want to take. Some take 2, some take 3, 4. I wanted to take the maximum amount of courses and be a full-time student. I wouldn't have been on the dean's list if I didn't take 4 courses. I want to be a full-time student.
And basically, you have to continue working and go to school to maintain your trustee status.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I could have stayed trustee, but my boss retired. I want to be on the kitchen crew, and they work 12, 13-hour shifts, and I just couldn't.
I fully understand. The only other programs I see in your jacket is anger management, and that's it. Have you taken any other programs?
I tried taking them, but I was told that I can't take them until I'm under a year.
Okay. Let's talk about alcohol and drugs.
About a course?
So let's talk about alcohol and drugs.
Okay,
Have you ever abused illegal drugs?
no, but in my whole life,
Yes.
yes, I did. I experimented with a little bit when I was in high school and stuff.
When did you start using drugs?
When?
When?
Ooh. Early 90s,
I mean, nothing. And what did you start with?
marijuana?
Did you graduate to anything stronger?
No, sir.
When's the last time you used marijuana?
Probably 1997 before I joined the military, because I was joining the military.
So after you joined the military and was discharged, you never used any drugs after that?
No, sir.
Okay. Have you ever been on supervision?
Of then probation,
Yes.
that's the only supervision I've been on with probation.
And then the judge saw fit to sentence you to 7 years and suspended a whole 7 years. And then you messed up.
Yes, sir. I was a week late on my registration on my last year.
Now, he didn't, I don't think he revoked you because you were a week late. Why were you revoked?
Well, then every year I pay my dues a little bit early every year, and the last year I kind of lost track of the time. I thought I was a week later, but actually it was a week dead of. So they arrested me and I bonded out, and I tried my probation officer even went to the court with me every time and talked to the DA. It wasn't the judge who revoked me, but it was the DA pushing for the felony. And my probation officer told him that, you can just charge with the misdemeanor for failure to pay annual fines, since technically I really already am registered. My address wasn't changed, my job wasn't changed, my vehicle wasn't changed. I was just late a week on paying my fines. And my probation officer, Miss Champagne, she went every time to court for me. And then I think about roughly 9-10 months, I've been going to court trying to get him and bring it to a misdemeanor. She said, because if I catch a felony, she's got no choice but to revoke me. And he pretty much told my probation officer and me, the DA, told us that he's not going to misdemeanor. He's pushing for the felony. Either take it and we can revoke the probation, we'll run it concurrent, or if not, we go to trial, we go consecutive.
So for being a week late on your registration,
Yes, sir.
you got convicted of a felony and was sentenced to 2 years in jail?
Yeah, concurrent with my probation
Right.
revocation.
Okay, that's kind of, well, it's unusual. Okay.
That's what the DA told me. So if I take the charge, I'll get the field register and revoke my probation, and he'll run it concurrent. If I want to go to trial, which I was wanting to go to trial, I try to get us to a misdemeanor. He says to run it consecutive. I don't want to take the extra chance of possibly not getting it, adding 2 more years to it. So
Okay. The next statement won't be a surprise. Opposition in this case comes from the Blackman Parish DA's office
Mhm.
and the Black Parish Sheriff's office. Okay, now, the only program that you've taken in the, 5 years and 8 months is anger management.
Yes, sir.
Have you tried to enroll a request from DOC to be transferred to a place where you can receive your sex offender treatment?
I inquired about it a few years ago to both my ward, and I wrote DOC a letter asking if I would need the course. And no one ever responded back to me. So from my understanding that it wasn't mandatory. So if you get out, you can take the course through.
But it's
Parole.
mandatory for me,
Okay,
and you have not received any treatment for your sex offense. And you only have one program, the anger management. You have a life rehabilitative program. And you need to have that sex offender treatment prior to release. And I know your good time date is about a year away, a year and a half away. And if you don't get it here, you'll probably have to take it when you're released as a part of your sex offender contract. But for me, sex offender treatment is sort of a requirement for me to vote positively for your release. And you don't have that today.
okay.
Question? All right, we'll hear from your family now. We'd like to hear from, I see your dad's on, it's Mr. Christopher Dahl, Chris Dahl, excuse me.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, go
Yes, sir.
ahead.
Okay. The only thing I can say is, I talk to my son every week, and it's a little emotional. I ask him how he's doing and what he's doing and everything else. And I can only say that he told me that he inquired about courses. He inquired about release programs. He inquired about what he was having to do for courses to get out. In my opinion, he is a servant. Right out of high school, he went into the military. He spent 9 years. He went to Iraq. He went to Afghanistan, but he chose something wrong. And I think he understands what he did wrong. And I feel in my heart that he will be changed, and I will be his backbone. I will be his strength, along with his other family members, while he is going through rehabilitation and his new journey.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your remarks and your participation. Is Ms. Schaffner signed in?
She's there, yeah.
All right, let's see. We see that Miss Leanne Schaffner is in. Can we hear from, there you are. Go ahead, ma'am. Your microphone's on mute. And your camera's not on. Miss Leanne, are you there?
I'm about to call her and see if she.
All right, she must be having difficulties. We're gonna ask for Chris's statement at this time. Chris, is there something you want to say to us?
Kind of like what my dad echoed my dad said. I mean, I understand that, I made a mistake, and this is my first time ever being in trouble. I've never had a parking ticket, never had a speed ticket. Served my country with honors for 9 years and something 2 wars. And I just made a mistake. I mean, there's nothing I can do to make it better other than serve my time. And, understand that the judge suspended me and gave me 7 years with the fiber. But I mean, even, it's the maximum penalty, even the maximum. And I rehabilitated, like I say, I rehabilitated myself, but I mean, I did good before when I got out. I had a job, I kept a job. I stayed out of trouble. I paid my bills. And just the slip up of, being a week late, I explained why, it's because I paid it, it's not easy to say you do on April 1st every year. If I pay a week early, the dates jump around on me, and it's my mistake. I was a week behind. But the way I feel, I wasn't moving around and jumping around addresses without reporting. I was coming home from the work that's on paper, or from my car that's on paper, going to my house that's on paper. I was pulled over in my driveway. So like my probation officer said, it's really was a failure to pay fine. It's not the federal register. I was already registered. I just didn't pay my fine to my last year. It's a tough blow, to have something so simple as that, put me back to prison for going on 6 years. And like my dad said, while I've been here, the month I got here, I wanted to do something. I just wanted to sit in jail. And I know it's y'all don't recognize it, but I did a bunch of Christian correspondence courses. I'm not sure if y'all have some of the stuff I mailed y'all, but I've got about 100 certificates of Christian correspondence courses from 5, 6 different organizations. I wanted to stay active and busy in search. And, I found Buddhism, but I still listen and believe in the Bible. I wanted to get in college. When college came out, I tried to get into college. Wasn't working at first, and I wanted to be a trustee. I worked hard as a trustee, and I have no rights. I have good communication and rapport with all the deputies. I've never had a problem with anyone. I've never been in trouble with any of them. I can often kind of joke with them because they know that, I'm not like the other inmates. I really feel like I don't belong here, but I needed to be here. Needed to, but I don't belong, but I needed to be here. Changed to find myself. Once I got in college, and I'm going at a full blast. That's my new drive right now. And I get my associates, like I said, tomorrow, and I'm going to continue to get my bachelor's. And I'm even thinking about once the Pell Grant's done, I get my bachelor's, I'm going to use the VA in the military to try to even go for my master's. I don't want to stop there. And as me and my dad talk every week, I've already got plans in motion when I get out. I've got, 2 or 3 jobs that I'm working on. I've already got a place to live that I'm working on. I've already got, I want to get back on my feet. I want to get back out there and be me. And you can believe me, I'm not going to make a mistake again. And I'm not going to be a week later registering either. I'm going to make sure I pay it a month at every time. So I just would like to say that I'm sorry, and I'm trying to do the best I can.
I do have one question, I'm sorry. You indicated your residence plan was with One Touch Ministry in Baton Rouge.
Yes, I'll contact the One Touch Ministries.
Have they told you they take sex offenders?
You would have to ask my father. He was the one that initially talked to the lady. I was told that they take everybody, is what I was told.
Oh, okay. So you don't actually have proof that they have accepted you?
No, I filled the application out. I sent them the life story. They wanted me to send them the life story, like 20 pages that I typed up. I mailed that to them, and we was in contact for a little while. They told me it was on the Christmas holidays. We'll get back to you. We're still processing it. And then they just completely ghosted me. They would text me back. They would text my father back.
So you really don't have a residence plan in place then? Not exactly.
My father's working on it. He really needs to.
I understand. Where does your father live?
He lives in Alabama, but we're from Plaquemines. And it's almost like I gotta have an approximate release date to get it in place, because you gotta rent the place, but you don't want to rent it, and then you don't know when you get out of it. So it's like approximations. But my father can speak more on that.
Okay.
Mr. Rushay?
Can we ask the lieutenant to come back in the room?
Sure. Mr. Dahl, could you ask the lieutenant to step back in?
I also got, a sergeant that's in charge of the Ashland program and, the reentry. He's been watching me also. Sergeant Antoine's here next to me.
No, I need to talk to the lieutenant.
Okay.
Hey, this is Bobby, Chris's sister. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
He's coming.
You.
Would you like to speak to also to, Sergeant Antoine for reentry?
Yes, let me talk to you.
Sergeant.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Sergeant Antoine. I'm head of the security for the Platinum Parish Detention Center Reentry Division. I also help proctor the Ashland Community College.
Okay. How long is your reentry program?
So our reentry program could go anywhere from, depending on the situation of the offender, it could run anywhere from 3 months all the way up to 18 months to 24 months. So when they come in, we do what we call a Tiger assessment. And the Tiger assessment pretty much tells us what courses that they will need to take. Anything from substance abuse to CBTs and IDCs. We also offer industry-based certificate programs and college. So once the Tiger give us the assessment, then we know, and that's based on the criminogenic model of Maslow, which is going to be determined as the high, moderate, or low. And in that situation, it's going to tell us what all they need to, what all courses they'll need to take.
Sergeant, he has a low risk assessment.
Sir?
He has a low Tiger.
So his low Tiger indicates to us that he's not a candidate to recidivate. So with that being said, we're gonna give him, so in our department with the Tiger and the low assessment, he really only could take like maybe the pre-release part of it. But due to the fact that some of the things changes, they are letting us also give them the CBT, the cognitive behavior therapy, to start learning how to think things through before they go. So with this change in place, we can kind of get Mr. Dahl the course that he needs for the CBT. Now, granted, we do not offer the sex abuse course here, but we can help him with some of the other CBTs that's in place.
But how long would it take him to complete the reentry, 100 hours pre-release with a low Tiger?
So 100-hour pre-release with a low Tiger could go anywhere from 6 weeks to 12 weeks, depending on his out date. Like if you tell me, Sergeant Antoine, we want him to take the 12-week, we could do the 12-week 100 hours. And then we have the one that we also could do the 6-week 100 hours, which is more class time.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for the information.
Okay, also, just on his behalf, he's been a real model offender in here. Everything from helping guys, tutoring guys in the college that's just coming in to helping us out in here when he come in for class. So I mean, to speak on him, I mean, he's been no more than a model offender, and so I can't say anything bad about the guy.
Thank you, Sergeant Antoine.
I thank you.
Madam
Do you
Chairman,
need anything?
no, I don't need.
All right.
Dick,
We have a motion for executive session.
I second.
I agree. So we'll be in executive session for a few minutes to discuss confidential matters. Stand by, Mr. Dahl.
Okay. He told me to stand by. I don't know. Yeah, they're gonna talk about confidential matters and stand by and he'll be back in the.
So they don't need me.
They asked for you.
And then they ask to speak to me, and then you know, so I don't know if they need you or not.
All right, let me know if they need me. I gotta go do another.
Confidential matters.
Our progress.
This one.
Yeah.
So let's just hope you know without that. Most of us, you know, like he has the 100 hours, you know, to take the 12.
Yeah. And like I was telling the lady, you know, at first with the One Touch Ministry, though, yeah, we're doing work with fine, but I mean, they kind of screwed me up on that where we did approximation.
And I should have told him, we also had no side, that help for you. That we could have possibly, we had.
Right. Regular session, Mr. Dahl, we're ready to vote. Mr. Roche will be voting first.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. Dahl. You are an exception to my rule. You have served 5 years, 8 months on a 7-year sentence.
Yes, sir.
No, until a few minutes ago, you were revoked because you were a week late on your registration. I didn't know that you are a United States veteran, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
I think you need to consolidate your residency plan. And I think you have an employment waiting on you, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So my vote is to grant your request under the conditions as follows: that you have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. If you have to work or you have a legitimate activity after 9 p.m., you must approve that with your parole officer before you're out after 9 p.m.
Yes, sir.
I want you to comply with all provisions of your sex offender contract.
Yes, sir.
And a part of that contract, you were going to sex offender classes, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I want you to continue those sex offender classes, and I want you to meet all requirements of your sex offender contract, and that includes paying your fees a month early.
Brandon, yes, sir.
That is my vote.
All right, Mrs. Wise.
Mr. Christopher, I too thank you for your service and commend you for you doing as well as you are doing. I
Thank you,
concur with Mr. Roche. My vote is to grant a good institutional record, positive comments from the staff and for the work that you've done. So as special condition, I would like to see you connect with the VA mental health services and stay plugged in with them.
Yes,
Best
ma'am.
wishes, sir.
Thank you.
Good. All right, Mr. Dahl, I do agree with my colleagues. I would my vote is the same with the same special conditions, and I would like to just add not to release until I graduate more.
I'm sorry, did you say that again, ma'am?
After you graduate with the Ashland University program.
Tomorrow, ma'am.
Good luck. All right, and be sure to connect with the VA and connect with mental health services. Good luck to you, sir. You've been granted parole.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ladies. And just a side note, I am with the VA. I'm actually 50% disabled, so I'm actually in the system. That's one thing I need to get back into. 'Cause
Yes,
it's hard.
yes.
It's hard here
Yes.
not having the support.
Yes, it is. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you so much.
But thank the folks at Plaquemines for accommodating us today. We're going to go ahead and adjourn. It's 1:48 p.m. And thank you, Dahl family and Ms. Schaffner for joining us today.
Thank you.
You got
I realized my picture wasn't in here. It's frustrating that they don't address the crime that he committed. It's frustrating that the victim in this case is not mentioned a single time. It is frustrating that no one shows up to represent the victim, Mr. O'Shea included, no assistant DA. We have no details on the crime. It could have been a sting operation like Chris Hansen does. It could have been that who knows? But what we have seen is that plea deals can be given in this scenario. We've seen it all the time, where indecent behavior is a plea down from carnal knowledge, or is a plea down from it can mean so much. And it is not a sign, the idea that he got 7 years probation. It doesn't mean that he didn't do anything. We had a man in here who got 7 years probation who was assaulting his 10-year-old stepdaughter. SA, full on. So that part just pisses me off, because we have seen that a large percentage, maybe I've seen 99% of people who hurt children, they don't have any write-ups. They have perfect records inside. So don't give him too much credit for that. You would think the board would know that by now. It's just what they are. It's actually a checkbox that you know. It's like a reaffirmation that this person is like, it fits in the box of every other pedophile and child abuser. Some DA felt that it was okay to give this man a 7-year sentence that he didn't even have to serve a day in prison. And then he goes on and says, wasn't like I was jumping around addresses, I just didn't pay. It was a tough blow. No, sir, it wasn't a tough blow. It's called karma. It's karma. You literally had to do one thing, which was pay your fine on time to stay out of prison. One thing, and you couldn't do it. I'm sorry, sir. That's not a tough blow. Now, you serve 9 years in your country, Iraq and Afghanistan, 2 tours. I give him credit for not bringing it up. His father brought it up. We don't, and I, like I said, my brother's a major. I have a soft spot for veterans, but when it comes to harming a child, there's simply no excuse for it. And again, we don't know what it was. I, without exaggeration, spent 30 minutes searching. I know that Richard spent time searching. I tried searching his, for anything. There's nothing. There's not. I tried looking at the police department's Facebook. There's just nothing. I would like to think that he, didn't do anything, but I don't believe that. Now, as Chris Hansen says, he likes to think of there being 3 buckets of like child predators. And he says there's one bucket that they're not pedophiles. They've never had a fantasy about children. It's not something that they obsess over. They can just be impulsive. They're on the computer and like a lot of people in his stings, and they just kind of don't. And then there's the he might be 21 and she's 15, and there's there's a certain like that kind of bucket. Then you have the other bucket where they're insecure. They don't feel they can get anyone else, and they like target this group because of those things. And maybe I'm misquoting him a little bit here. And then there's like the third bucket though, which is the important one, which is they are pedophiles. Like they have a mental disease. They are obsessive. I think a good way to figure it out is when they get arrested, if you find child on their computers or phones, I think that's a good indicator. And if you don't, I think that's a good indicator. That's my personal opinion. Like that's how I would try to figure it out. Maybe he falls under bucket 1 or 2 and not bucket 3, and maybe he's not a risk to society, and because of that, and he won't do anything again because and no kids will be harmed after this, and I like to think that just so I can sleep at night. But I have also learned that these predators are incredibly manipulative, and I have been tricked a few times on this channel only to find out with later research that and I'll put in the top here one of those cases. Actually, let me put in my notes to do that. I was tricked by one of them. And you could find some sense of it. He said, "Oh well, I'm going to go stay at for the One Touch Ministries, which is, are you kidding me? Indecent behavior with the juvenile, and then you're going to go live at One Touch Ministries? Can you even make it up?" I did Google them, and hey, I'll support them if they are ghosting people with his record. Hey, I'll support them all the way. But first he's like, yeah, I'm going to stay there. And then Mrs. Wise, well, do they accept? Oh, well, they're ghosting us. And then also when they said, well, let him out, Mr. O'Shea said, you have a place to live, right? Like almost like he was setting him up to say, yes, I do. But I thought from this conversation he didn't. That was also confusing to me. Mr. O'Shea making an exception. He said, you have an apartment waiting on you? I thought that he didn't. In 2014, indecent behavior with a juvenile. 7-year sentence. and it was suspended. And then they were saying that they were going to give him a felony for not paying. That's what I was confused too. You can, I didn't know you get a felony for not paying. And then he didn't want to go to court for it, so they locked him up. And he's probably getting a check from for half disability for the past 5 years while sitting in prison. Well, what do you guys think? You think that serving as a combat role makes a difference? I mean, to catch a predator, we've seen several military vets there. Or do you think without knowing the crime, there's just no way of really having any square emotion around this? Gotta feel bad for his dad. He, tries to do everything right, and then this happens. That's gotta be heartbreaking. Anyways. Love to hear really what you think on this one. This is just, and with that, I'll let you go.